In today's video, we are going to be making blackberry jelly. We are using a recipe that has been passed down. What we did was we washed all our jars and sanitized our jars.
And first we have to cook up the berries to strain and just use the juice because nobody likes seeds. And here's the berries everybody picked today. So Abby, can you get a measure cup and we'll measure them out so we know how many berries we have.
Well, Abby's measuring. Grandma, can you tell us the difference between jam and jelly?
Jelly, you just use the juice, and jam has all the seeds and sometimes little chunks of fruit in it, like strawberry jellies. You can have chunks of strawberry in it, but the jelly is just made from the juice, so it just goes on nice and smooth.
This is our second cup of blackberries. This is our fourth cup of blackberries. This is our 12th cup of blackberries. 13, 14, and a sprinkle on top. You're good.
And now we're putting it on the stove.
We're just using this masher to mash up the berries. Is that what we're doing?
And it's on medium heat.
I took over mashing for Abby. She had been mashing for about 2 minutes and she already did a really good job. So now I'm just trying to get some of those berries mashed a little bit more. I would guesstimate this would take maybe 5 minutes of your time to mash your berries to get the juice from them. You're going to kind of want to make sure you can't see any form of a berry. You get more of a blended consistency. The heat is on. It's on medium heat. It's not boiling, as you can see. It's just kind of warming all the berries up. And we're almost there. There's a couple more berries that need to...
You can't do this on a day when you're in a hurry because, as you can see, it takes a bit of patience, but it's worth the wait in the end because everybody will love it. You can have it on your toast with a little bit of butter in the morning, or you can even have it on ice cream sometime, but it's very good.
So I've actually been mashing for probably about 8 minutes now. Dee, what do you think of the consistency?
It looks just about right.
All right.
The next step is we're going to dump it into a bowl in a strainer with cheesecloth to get all the chunks of berries out, and we'll just save the juice.
Okay. Try not to splash anybody. Let's go this way. This is very splashy. Please be careful. It is hot off the stove. Okay, there you go.
Okay, now you hold this one, Abby. Okay. And I'll hold this side. And we're just going to slowly lift it up and let it drain out the bottom. Just like that. That's good. Lift up. Like this. You can see the juice coming out. See, now this is going to take a while. We've got a strainer there just in case we drop the whole thing. And we just want the juice to keep dripping out until we get a whole bunch of juice.
If you're going to do this, make sure you're wearing a shirt that you don't mind getting stained or yourself stained. Blackberries do stain.
We have some tongs here that we're going to use to try to get some juice out.
How much juice do we need for this recipe?
We need 4.5 cups.
4.5 cups. So we were gonna pull out some measuring cups and see how many cups we had, but we looked in our little bowl and sure enough, we have 4 cups, which is exactly what we need to make our jelly today. And as you can see, I am covered in blackberry jelly. So I'm going to take this over to the stove. There are 4 cups of jelly in a saucepan that is on medium heat. So for this next part, we are going to bring our juice to a rolling boil.
To a rolling boil.
How long does that stay like that?
And as soon as you see that it's boiling a good boil, then you add the pectin. We're using Sure Gel.
Sure Gel. I got this at Walmart. I'm sure you can get it at any grocery store. That's where I got ours.
We have a big sturdy metal spoon for this. I think plastic, it might get a little too hot for plastic. But when you're making jelly, you need to continuously stir it. You don't want to ever put it on and just walk away from it. It's going to have a lot of sugar in it. It will burn easily, so it has to be continuously babysat. Okay, now we're ready to add the pectin because it's boiling pretty good, and you want to add it all at one time. Okay. And then we want to stir it in. And now we're going to wait for it to boil a second time because when you add the pectin, it cooled it off enough that it won't boil for a little bit. So we have to get it to boil a second time. And then we're going to be adding the sugar, which is 6.5 cups of sugar.
I've already pre-measured
Seems a
those
lot,
out.
but we have to wait for the boil again. So that's what I mean about you have to be patient when you make jelly. Okay, we've added the sugar, and now we have to wait for it to boil once again. And once it comes to a very full rolling boil, then we have to time it for 1 minute, but you've got to continuously stir it for that 1 minute. And then it will be ready to go to the jars.
And Grandma will come. Keep stirring. Just keep stirring.
Set the timer for 1 minute.
Okay, you better. I'm setting the timer for 1 minute on a rolling boil.
Our canning kettle that we will be using soon, I just filled it with water and it's waiting for our attention after we get them in the jars.
Keep stirring. You've got 20 seconds.
Is there seeds in this?
Keep stirring.
Or is it just thick?
Just keep stirring, just keep stirring. 10 seconds.
You could probably turn the timer off.
5,
Not the timer, the
4,
oven.
3, 2. I failed.
Now we're gonna the jelly is ready and we're gonna put it in the jars and we're using a ladle to get it from there to the jar.
All right. Go ahead.
How much?
Just keep going until I tell you to stop. Try to get it all the way in there, not too much on the sides. And you're going to fill it at least all the way up to here. There, move it all the way to the top.
More, you need it more.
Why do we need it filled up that high?
You don't want too much air there. That's good. So it's just a little bit from the very top, because it will expand once more in the canning kettle.
That one good.
See down here. The important thing when you're canning is see how it's dripped over the edge. You can't have any of that because it won't seal. So you need a nice clean rag and you got to wipe it off because if there's anything between the seal and the jar, it will ruin the seal. So you got to wipe off the very lip of it and then place on your clean lid and tighten it with a ring. And then when we get these all done, we'll be moving them to the canner kettle. Okay, you never have enough to fill the jars completely. If we were making a bunch of more than one batch, which we're not right now because we've already used our berries, we would just wait till the next batch and add to it to make it full. But since this one is not full, we're gonna put that one, we're gonna set it aside, let it cool, and put it in the refrigerator, and guess what we're having tonight? Yummy jelly.
So that one's not gonna get a steam bath. It's not gonna get sealed. We're gonna
No,
use it
it's
right
just-
away.
Yeah, it's just gonna feed us.
So now that we have our jelly in our jars, and we have such a small batch, but that's okay, it's our first batch, we are gonna lower these into water and let them boil. I have them placed on there evenly so they can weigh the little basket and it doesn't tip over, doesn't spill. So we're just gonna let them boil. And we need more water in here. But nobody was harmed in the making of this video. I mean, although it looks like a crime scene in here. This is just blackberry juice that I was trying to clean up. And as you can see, I'm wearing it. And the floor now looks like a murder scene. Our 15-minute timer has just gone off. Now this water is super, super hot, so make sure you are using your gloves, your mittens, whatever you need to use. Do not touch it directly. I'm going to pull out the metal piece very carefully. It has a lip. If you've bought this canning system, yours will have the lip too. And now we're just going to transfer our jars from the pot. They're super hot, be careful. Over to our nice little cooling station. Just drying the top of our lids off. And now we wait patiently and listen for that ever-satisfying pop, which means they have sealed correctly and they are good. So if you've enjoyed our video on how to make blackberry jelly, please like, comment, subscribe. Send us a comment if you would like to see us make any other things with blackberries. We are open to recipes. And we have this tiny little jar of blackberry jelly, and we are going to give a shout out to our friend Kendall. She watches a lot of our videos all the time, and we thank you for your support.